we get, I can't remember when, but we got 2 notifications. This is a very complicated situation, so I'm just starting at the 2 notifications. They sent out one saying that we had to send in pay stubs for December. They sent out another one saying that our link might get shut off, and then we have to send in pay stubs for December. DeAndre went to his jobs, got the pay stubs he can get, went to the link office that day, talked to somebody, and the person told them everything should be fine. He told him that then. Then let me backtrack so you can understand. How we got linked was DeAndre has Medicaid, and Medicaid is trying to figure out, and a health insurance company that is over the Medicaid is trying to figure out why does DeAndre need so many ER visits. He has epilepsy and he's like in and out of the hospital still. So they trying to figure out what's going on. What can they do to prevent him to go to the ER? And so they looked into it, and his health insurance company is saying that he should have got linked. If he got linked, he will have less financial burden, which will decrease his stress level, which will help him to not be triggered. So he will hopefully stop having seizures, because he's like so easily triggered now. And it's not about the medication. The Carl Hospital thinks it's because he's not compliant with his medication. It's not that. Sometimes he can go like a week without taking. Sometimes he can go like a week without taking medicine and not have a seizure. And sometimes while he's taking the medicine, while I'm massaging him, while he's eating right, while he's exercising, while he's getting sleep, he'll have a seizure anyway. So they trying to figure out what's the deal, right? So they all of a sudden, I just got a link card sent in the mail, and a paper. It was not the normal way, I know, because normally when you go to the link card office or go online and fill out the application, what they do is they send you the card, and then a couple days after that, they send you the PIN notification. So this time they just sent the card, and it was a weird way they sent it. So I'm like, this is like look like some emergency assistance type, situation. Like somebody trying to help me out, because they understand that us not having link is one of the reasons why he's so stressed out. Because he was told when he had his first seizure about 3 years ago to take 6 months off, and he cannot afford to do that. So he's like in a pattern of always having to fight off a seizure now, because he can't take time off from work. So with all that being said, not that I'm trying to ask for special treatment, I'm stating that we know we need the link. Dre understands he needs the link. The issue was before, Dre did not understand that he really needs to keep that link account open. All right. So when they sent the link card, they sent like $1,000 and something on it. But I was the only person on the account. So I was stating, like, I know that they should have sent more money, because it's supposed to be DeAndre, my son DeAndre, and me on the account. It's technically with the link, it's a joint account, but our household is 2 separate households. It's DeAndre and it's me and Chunka. And if I lose custody of Chunka, Chunka stays with DeAndre. So like we all got that understanding. So I'm concerned that it's January, finna be the end of January. We still haven't got linked for this month. Not having the ability to take care of his family is a trigger for DeAndre. So I'm trying to get this handled, because he already went to the office in December to make sure our link card didn't get shut off in January.
Right. Okay, and what's the last of your social?
My social? You said last 4?
Yeah.
0549.
Okay. So, yeah, so it looks like there was an attempt to get the app reopened back in December. There were some pay stubs that were submitted, but what was submitted was not sufficient enough. And so part of the issue was it looks like we just had one biweekly pay stub from each place, it looks like, for the employment, and we actually need 30 days for the SNAP program, which would typically be 2 consecutive pay stubs for any jobs. And so they actually denied that request because it wasn't sufficient to meet that. And at this, because we are into January and that had originally closed all the way, it would require a new application. So what I would recommend is to have him or you, I mean, however you guys want to do it, go ahead and submit a new application and just try to include the last 30 days of pay stubs. So probably be looking at anything you would have got in January and probably the last couple weeks of December.
Now, understand, I am very upset right now, and I'm trying to get you to understand that DeAndre is fighting off seizures. He's been fighting off seizures for 3 years. And he went to the office with the pay stubs from December, and the person in the office told him it was fine. And I know that your office has the ability to look up pay stubs. I know you do. And understand, no. Understand me real quick. DeAndre is not supposed to be working, not supposed to be driving, and he went through all these extra steps to make sure that the link was not turned off. He talked to somebody that day, a person in the building. He brought pay stubs. They told him everything was fine. Understand?
No, I don't, because here's the problem, ma'am. Okay, what I need to explain to you is that the way that our office is set up right now due to the pandemic is the only option we have is a triage right now. So we have one person that sits up front and will take documents as they're dropped off. They date stamp them, and then they get sent to clerical workers to be uploaded onto the cases. We do not have the ability to look up cases up front. They don't allow us to do that. So the person up front only would have been able to tell him that we will take the documents and get them submitted for him. Now, whether or not he assumed that meant that everything was fine, I'm not sure. But that's not something they would have been able to verify with him up front. So, unfortunately, what was submitted was not acceptable based on what we were requesting, because when we had requested it, we had requested the last 30 days of pay stubs, and all we received was one biweekly pay stub for each of the 2 jobs that was active on the case. So we could not use that to approve the SNAP benefit. And then they would have sent out a denial notice explaining, what the reason was that it was denied and everything. And unfortunately, at this point, we're now at a point where it will require a new application. And I totally get we don't want to, jeopardize his health or anything like that. That's not what we're trying to do. But we also have to follow policy and guidelines from the federal government on this, or else our agency will have a corrective action plan and have all sorts of problems. So the only option we really have is to have him submit a new application, and I would just recommend, to avoid a future issue like this, to include the last 30 days of pay stubs for any active jobs.
Now, understand this. I get that you're protecting your job and the person's job that told him everything was fine. So you're trying to tell me that legally he couldn't say that. So I know he didn't say that, because legally we can't say that. I am telling you, this is not my first time going to the link office, and the link office people tell us everything is okay, and then y'all turn around and turn the link off when we have no way to get food in the house for our kid. I understand that we should be happy to get what we can get from the government. I understand. But y'all keep telling us everything is fine. The words come out your mouth. You tell us it's fine. Do you understand? Y'all are the issue here. If you would have told him that it was not fine. No, understand. If you would have told him it was not fine, I could have got him to go back with the pay stubs.
Ma'am, I totally get what you're saying, okay, but what I'm trying to explain is that we have a paper trail that shows this stuff. So, something being word of mouth, we don't get into that, because that's not something that they can back up in an appeal hearing. It's not something that, you can do anything with. So that's why we do everything by mail. We have it all in black and white writing. They sent a notice that would have specifically said on it that 30 days of consecutive pay stub verification was needed. And the fact that he didn't submit that is what we're going based on, and that's why it was denied. I'm not trying to argue with you about what may have been said by a worker at the front claiming that it was okay and that everything was fine. I can't speak to that because we do everything in black and white. So I'm not trying to, take advantage of the situation. I don't want to deny anything. I prefer to approve everybody. But we have to go based on our policies, and that's part of why we send those notices specifying exactly what's needed. So if he didn't submit that and someone told him up front that everything was fine, there's nothing we can really do to counteract that because that's not correct. It's not appropriate. Obviously, you can always file a grievance if you feel that you were mistreated or that someone lied to you about what was really going on. I know because I've worked that front desk a number of times, and I know that we are repetitively instructed to not look up cases and not tell anyone specific information up front. They're instructed to give you the phone number to leave a voicemail, which is what you did, which is why I'm calling you back, or that they can submit the documents and that we'll respond to them by mail. Those are really the only two options because they don't want us saying your case is fine or whatever because they don't want that coming back up and being an issue. And that's why we work with the notices that are sent. It keeps an electronic record of what's sent, when it's sent, where it's sent, and all that. And so that's really all that we can do. I get that sometimes mistakes are made. Maybe the person up front did say something. Maybe they were a newer worker. I'm not sure. I'm not accusing you of misinformation or anything like that. I know these things do occur. The problem that we have is that we don't have anything documented to really do anything with that. We can only go based on what is seen in the record. And so, you can appeal any decision. If you guys wanted to appeal that denial, you certainly can do so. You can also submit an application while that appeal is going on so that you don't miss any additional benefits. And they can still hear that appeal hearing if you so choose. And if you win the appeal, they can backdate the SNAP benefit and get you those backdated months that you've missed since December. I would recommend if that's what you're concerned about, that you certainly go ahead and do that. And then I'm just suggesting that if you're going to do a new application, to just make sure to include the last 30 days stub so that we can hopefully get you approved now going forward.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say. The issue is, I understand that I am legally only allowed to apply myself and my son. Understand? I had the beautiful option of having somebody else help Dre to apply for SNAP. I cannot apply DeAndre. I understand because of the law, we are technically the same household. But I'm telling you, he fights off seizures every day. I cannot keep getting him to go back. That's why I keep telling y'all the same thing every time. If I send him to the office and he talks to y'all and y'all tell him everything's okay, I can't get him to do nothing else.
I mean, you can help him with the application process. You can sit there with him and fill out the application with him and then have him sign his name that he's agreeing to everything. That's fine. If that's going to cause distress for him to fill out an application, he doesn't have to do that. You can absolutely go through, fill out all the applicable information, and then just have him sign his name. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. And then you can go ahead and submit it to us on his behalf. You can drop it off for him. We have people drop off documentation for other people all the time. We have approved representatives on cases that can drop off. A lot of times we have agencies that help folks that have disabilities or other issues that can't fill out their own applications. The agency will do it for them and drop it off on their behalf. That's totally fine. You can do that.
All right, so I will try to see if DeAndre is willing to go to the link office again to fill out a form and bring in pay stubs. But understand that I'm stating that whatever y'all, this is what I'm saying, because I know what's going on. Complete reality, I understand. I understand y'all legal status and y'all policies currently. I get it. The issue is I'm dealing with a person who is fighting off seizures, and it's hard for me to get him to understand to do stuff. I legally do not have power of attorney. I can't just do stuff. And right, I got him to do it. I got him to go over there with the pay stubs. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
You
that is the reason. That is the reason.
We do offer other options. He can always on our
I get what
website
you're
online.
saying, but the
can do that
reason
on
why
the phone
I'm
or
stating
on
something
a
else is
computer.
because I'm trying to tell y'all that whatever y'all set up, y'all didn't set it up correctly. So I'm trying to say that it's going to be a minute before I can get Dre to go back over there, because I'm going to have to talk to him for a while to get him to understand that the government's not after him. There's no beef. You're not being set up. I know you're tired because you working 2 jobs. I know you're fighting off a seizure, but you still got to go to over there and fill out the dang form again and give more pay stubs. I understand. I still got to go through this whole conversation again. What I'm saying right now is that I know the way it was set up wasn't set up correctly. It was supposed to be me, Dre, and Chunka on the account. It was just me. So I'm trying to see what steps do I have to take to get an adjustment for the financial assistance that I did not receive when I was legally able to receive SNAP benefits, because it was supposed to be me, Chunka, and DeAndre, me, my kid, DeAndre on the account, but it was just me. We got $1,000, but it was just me on the account. So I'm trying to see, is it possible for y'all to adjust and give us the money that we were supposed to get during the time that we were legally in the program and legally everybody is okay with us getting the correct amount of assistance. I'm saying that while we was correctly in the system, we still didn't get the correct amount of assistance. Because I know it's going to take a while for me talking him into going back over there.
Right. How long ago is the time period that you're referring to right now where you think it was incorrectly set up? I mean, was it something recent, like in the last 3 months? Or are you talking?
We was only on the link card for like a couple months, I think.
Couple months?
Yeah.
I mean, without knowing all the details and spending half the day kind of looking all that up and making sense of what happened with it, I would say if you wanted to appeal it, you certainly can, and you can provide verifications, and they'll, review that and see if we made an error, because it does happen. And, if it is something that they can verify, they very well may back pay you for whatever the cost may have been that was owed to you guys, or whatever our mistake might have been. But that would kind of be the route, would be to probably go through an appeal process. Typically, you only have, I think, 90 days from when you had the issue with whatever happened to get that filed. So if it happened a couple months ago, I would definitely encourage you to file that as soon as possible.
Okay, so to apply for
and
appeal.
As far as going forward, what I would recommend is just to make sure that it's clear, when he does the application or whatever, that he's listing everyone who's actually in the home and, very clear about what the relationships are and all that. I mean, sometimes there's certain policy that forces us to have to put certain people in the home. Like typically if we have an unmarried couple living together, but they have a child in common, we have to include all 3 of them on the SNAP unit. There's nothing we can do about that. But there are certain circumstances where, it is kind of a fuzzy situation, or, sometimes we have people that are separated or they live separately. It gets a little tricky, but, as long as we can try to verify who is living where and what the relationships are, we'll usually take care of that. And, obviously if you have an issue with how they are budgeting or setting up the relationships, you can always voice your concerns and we can, try to figure that out. And usually you'll do that during the interview process, where they'll kind of ask those questions and